Hi there, Timothy Linsdau, video producer and Christian. Today I'm taking a look at the paper here and looking at the sadness in Tijuana that has the busiest, probably the busiest border crossing in the world, and just a few miles from my house. And today it's Tijuana enduring the deadly crime wave, being named the capital of murder in the world. Like and comment on my video and subscribe to support my channel if you would. But what a sad story that this rages on in Tijuana. Generally a fun place. People go for a nice meal or a vacation safari or something like that. And this terrible stuff is going on. And of course it's dealing with drugs. Drug cartels doing battle with each other. The major cartels that fought before here are splintered and reduced, so now it's like neighborhood drug gangs shooting it out. And then there very well may be police involved because a lot of the homicides, there's no evidence. In fact, sometimes there's no bodies. There's some evidence somebody was shot. They disappear. They get buried in some common cemeteries. Terrible, terrible stuff. And all this is going on, of course, with the issues at the border with President Trump and the immigration. And now the people claiming asylum are being pushed back or sent back to cross the border, and of course here would be Tijuana. So you're ending up with a lot of people in shelters. Whether these people are involved in any kind of drugs or drug use, I haven't seen much on that for the caravan people. Now, there are probably bad people mixed in with them, probably. That's always an issue. We're always having an issue here. I should say we're concerned about what goes on down there, spilling over onto this side, on the U.S. side. But the U.S. has its own drug problems. And of course, that's what makes these drug gangs and cartels work, is the money. They border on the wealthiest nation in the world who consumes a massive amount of drugs and spend a massive amount of money, best I understand. And this terribleness goes on. Now, what I guess you'd call this is an irony, because you've got people on the southern border of Mexico coming from Central America say they're running from bad situations in those countries and drug wars of their own. The problem for them, though, is that they're going to try to claim asylum for the drug wars and dangers going on around them. But the U.S. generally doesn't give asylum for crime or drug wars or running from a bad husband. They do it only for government oppression. And so there you are. Now, just recently, another caravan has hopped the Mexican border and following previous routes of migrant caravans to Tijuana again. But many of these people are not aware of what's going on in the murder capital of the world. And it's very dangerous. So basically they could be just changing one dangerous situation for another. Last year, Tijuana had over 2,500 murders and are approaching that level again, are on that way for that. It amounts to about 126 people per 100,000 inhabitants. Tijuana has about 1.8 million to 2 million people. And so that's the numbers. That's the numbers. But it just goes on and on. They're turf wars over smuggling routes. The city's district attorney, Jose Alberto Alvarez Mendoza, highlights a pandemic of petty drug dealing in the, on the local market as neighborhood gangs fight block to block for outlets, mainly for synthetic drugs now. Now, Tijuana's leading expert on narco traffic, Victor Alfaro, says the cartel leaders now the kind of people you'd meet in a country club. They've lost control of the low-level street dealers. It's kind of frightening when you think about it. It's businessmen that are well-to-do that, like you said, you'd meet at the country club. That are dealing in this stuff and dealing in this violence. And a lot of it's very local, so you have, it's really family in a sense, like the one side murders the other and then the other one just prepares to murder the other side. They don't go to the police and they don't seek a normal justice system. It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys. They're going to take care of it themselves. And of course, there are victims, around these people who are also get pulled into this, or there'll be a drive-by shooting and they're shooting everybody that's there. Well, not, at everybody that's there. So it's an ongoing disaster. Some extortion and kidnapping, but that doesn't seem as prevalent now as the murders are again. They said the killings leave hardly any evidence. Sometimes, like I said, they have no body. The bodies are taken away and buried in common cemetery. No gun, no bullets, so that no witnesses are prepared to come forward, so nothing to work with. And especially if the police are involved in this at all. And it just turns into revenge killings. Victor Clark Alfaro has monitored crime and narco traffic in Tijuana since the 80s for his binational Commission for Human Rights here, and as a professor at SDSU, university that my sons attended. He is this week preparing to a file as an expert witness in drugs trial in California. It's just sad, you just take a deep breath and like I said, you hope it doesn't spill over here. I'm sure the drug purchasing does, of course, but much of this is also in Tijuana, Mexico. Drug use, just not up. It's not just in the U.S. So the big cartels like Sinaloa and the old Arellano Phoenix cartel, they've been revived in some ways, led by their relatives. It's just inherited. They inherit it like any business. Only it's not any business. This one's enforced by murder. But the big old cartels are fragmenting and are fragmented, and that brings on all of this, like they said, to fill a vacuum. Small groups and gangs around the city will, it's easy money, I suppose, and they just get involved, and it's all about money. I think when Christ said the love of money is the root of all evil, he hit it on the head. Love of money. It can be a terrible thing, but that's what happens, and it's a terrible thing. Some people say we've seen it all here in Tijuana, and we've got the fence behind our backs, and before our eyes on the streets every week another killing, another body in the dust, more police, soldiers, plastic tape, but no one gets arrested. So that's got to be really tough on the minds of those people when there's no justice. Where do you go from here? Terrible stuff, terrible. Hopefully they can sort it out. Like and comment my video, subscribe to my channel. It just gets hard to talk about after a while, but it needs to be said. So in your good life now, get out there and make it a great day, though.